Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Superbly Said podcast. We have Niloofar here, who is a postgraduate researcher in the field of biology in the USA. She's originally from Iran, and she's also a member of the I Speak community. Very welcome.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me here. Hi to all your audiences, and it's a great honor for me to be here with you guys. Hope we have a very great conversation together.
I have no doubt about that. Thank you for joining us, Niloofar. So, let's start with the first question. Have you ever experienced a change that felt like night and day? What was it?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe like change is the permanent part of everyone's lives, especially for me, in my case, as an immigrant whose experience is living in other countries. I encounter these kind of situations a lot, and some of them were really outstanding and kind of stands out among all those changes, and day and night for me. Before moving to United States, I was living in Netherlands in Europe, and that was the time when I got here. I noticed a huge change, a remarkable difference between these two cultures. The difference in work-life balance, the thing that you see it, you witness in Europe a lot, which is kind of very opposite here in US. Americans are really workaholic.
Right. Or do you think, because from the American perspective, they might say that the Europeans, maybe that they are, prone to not working?
I don't know what would they say, because sometimes even I talk to them, they're not really happy with this situation, that they need to work 24/7. They complain about it sometimes, especially when I just pointed out about it. But at the end of the day, they're still doing their job. I remember at my very first day here, I think I had left something in my office. It was a weekend, so I had to get back to campus. And when I got there, I encountered a parking lot filled with cars. And I was shocked that, wow, is this really a weekend? So I was a time that reality hit like a ton of bricks. Yeah.
And that actually happens every weekend? You mean you see people, researchers, university employees and students rocking up to campus every weekend?
Not only every weekend. It happens for me sometimes that I go to campus. Sometimes even I need to work, and I see people are around most of the time. Like in Europe, when you go outside, you can feel the joie de vivre that is among Europeans, how they live their lives to the fullest. And, they have they tend to work from 9 to 5 p.m. And after 5 p.m., you can find them, having their beers, socializing, spending time with their loved ones. But here in US, I think the definition of joy and life is something else. They find that joy and they find their life in working. And I don't know, that's something that's still strange to me.
Right. So in Europe, they're more balanced. They seem to have that balance correct, in your opinion? Do you think it's more humane? How would you describe that balance that the Europeans have struck between work and, as you said, life?
Yeah, I know what you say. I don't know. I think it has both pros and cons. Americans tend to work a lot, and the workaholism is a crisis here. But on the other hand, they have a high economy. The job opportunity here is really promising, but it has a cost. It has a cost that you need to work a lot. You don't get the chance to spend so much time with your family, or even enjoying the money that you're making. On the other hand, in Europe, that's my observation, that they have a very maybe good and normal economy. Of course, not as good as here in US, but still, the philosophy of life for me is just enjoy the life, not just keep working. And the sad thing here is, what's that, John, is that this workaholism is like a contagious disease. After a while, you find yourself being infected with that after just shortly living here. And yeah, that's the definition of life and joy for me, at least.
For sure, for sure. But from another perspective, what if you're actually being administered a cure for something that the Europeans had injected into you in terms of this life and work-life balance? What is the norm? What is the better path? If, in your case, I know you're reminiscing the days of Europe, it seems,
Yeah.
but from the American perspective, the American path is the norm. And you're saying, yeah, but if that was the case, why would they be complaining? But maybe they complain, but it's only fueling a greater desire to do better. I've also lived in Europe for a while, but I haven't ever lived in America. I only visited for a month a decade ago, but I'm really drawn to American way of life these days. I am a workaholic though. My girlfriend is in France, so she lives the French way. She's Tunisian, and it's Mediterranean, so there is the Tunisian way. But after having lived there, for me, the American lifestyle seems the better one for me. But in your case, you're saying the European one is, do you think on an objective level, the correct one?
Uh, as you said, as you mentioned, that I think it really depends on your personality in what you want from life, what you're looking exactly, what's your purpose of your life, and that absolutely that varies among different people. So it's my observation, that's my perspective to life. That I don't know. I don't want to be maybe at 50 years old who hasn't traveled a lot, who didn't get the chance to try and experience new food, new cuisine, meeting new people. But it depends on you. If you find the joy in that type of lifestyle, yeah, good for you. I never discourage anyone. But from my perspective, the thing that I'm looking for is not that. And yeah, there was the complaining. Not they do not complain usually. When I just pointed out to them, they agree with that. They say, yeah, I know it's the way we are, but yeah, that's it. And I think most of it is like a peer pressure, John. When you get here, even it happens to me too, most of the time. You get here and you witness that your peers keep working and working, and it kind of sparks a feeling within you that maybe you are not good enough, maybe you are not making enough attempts. And that peer pressure makes you work and work and work. But yeah,
I think, yeah, you're bringing back memories of me of in my life of living with Americans, and it's true. There is this pressure, there's this ambition. They want to climb and climb, and I remember when I first encountered this, I was a little bit taken aback, and I thought it was a little bit one-dimensional. But yeah, as the years passed, somehow I started to look on European culture as being somewhat, let's say, not urgent enough. But there's more to do. There are things to do here. That's kind of how I feel. Like, how could you be relaxing now when there are things to do? I feel very much. I think it also comes from the fact that I've already enjoyed that part, that relaxation, that kind of balance to life, and perhaps I will go back to that. And right now, maybe it's just a phase. And whereas in America, it's not a phase; it's a really a lifestyle, like a long term. And I think you're putting a pretty big discrepancy in life experience or like broad experiences that are afforded to Americans, given that if they're going to be on a rush, if they're going to be putting all of their hours into work, then they don't really get to explore the world and to see the other side of things. So yeah, there's definitely that doesn't help until maybe 55 or later, when they're able to retire and visit different places. It might be a little bit too late to change. So I certainly think there are flaws. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I have to think more about it.
yeah. They're kind of like at least economically, I think they're kind of conquering the world, they're ruling the world at some point. But that it has some cost too. That's why yet I think you see the rate of depression and obesity is really high among Americans. That's the perks of being a workaholic. You have all those stuff. They work a lot. They're ruling the world, kind of, but still, on the other hand, there are some adverse impacts as well.
Gotcha. Well, how about any positive sides? Can I push you to name or mention any positive aspects of the American way of life?
Yeah, of course. Just I told you, it's really promising to live here. Finding a job, like the job opportunities here is way easier because, I live there in Europe and I'm still in touch with my friends there. I know that, like, especially as an expat, finding job in other countries is not really easy. And in Europe, it could be even more challenging. But here, it's not that difficult. It might be at some point. And even the salaries are really rewarding here. You can make much more money comparing to Europe, but even the cost of the living is not that low as well. And yeah, the freedom, I think the freedom that they talk about us all the time, that you're living in a free country, you have the right to do whatever maybe you want. And it's not like that all about the, disadvantage. There are a lot of good points and positive points of living here. I do not regret just moving here, but that was the main difference. It was a very great conversion from Europe to US, and seeing these kind of the difference in their lifestyle was really outstanding and notable for me, at least.
Sure. And how long have you been in the United States now?
It's been almost 3 years, I think now. It's been almost 3 years. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think that you will think differently in 3 years' time?
What do you mean by that? I didn't get that. Sorry.
Oh, do you think that in 3 years' time from now, you'll be maybe, like you said, infected, completely converted to the American way of life?
Yeah,
maybe adapted.
Yeah, it's possible. Even right now, I just sometimes I find myself that I'm working, and there are sometimes the time that I find myself that I'm feeling so weak, and I notice like maybe during the last 10 or 12 hours, I didn't eat enough because I was working. But yeah, I think humans tend to adapt to their environment easily. Maybe for me, it's really novel, but after a while, everyone gets used to it. It's really on you that if you want to just really involve and engage in this culture, be one of them, or you're just thinking of it as a temporary thing, as just an experience for, 4 or 5 years of your life. It depends on your goal. And for me, it's not completely clear that what I'm going to do after my graduation yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm wondering how things would change after graduation in terms of the work hours. I'm not sure because, yeah, of course, I don't have the experience to say, but maybe it will be different, and maybe it's part of the PhD student life that's particularly intense, and being in America exacerbates that. But at the same time, maybe the work life afterwards, it won't be too bad.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really is encouraging and keep me motivated, because of all those that, I've seen a lot of people that after the graduation, they're making tons of money. They can afford to buy very good house, very, great cars. And yeah, I think the lifestyle could change, at least for me after my graduation, after getting out of academia. Because, PhD life is really demanding, and it's a long run commitment to your work, to your project. So it kind of doesn't get you enough chance to have much more fun. It's kind of, I think, the nature of PhD at some point too. But yeah, I'm kind of hopeful that after graduation, there would be more changes, more desired change at least.
I see. And what about in terms of your activities as a PhD student with your research? Are you committed to different responsibilities such as teaching? What occupies your time?
Yeah, like as a PhD student, there are several tasks and commitments that you need to do over your program duration. For example, here students they tend to be TA and GRA or GRA and in total. That means you need to be a TA, teaching assistant. You need to sometimes help with the teacher. Sometimes even you need to teach some courses, doing some gradings. And as an RA, research assistant, you need to participate in other research works apart from the ones that it's your main project. And there are some of the lab works. And yeah, it depends on the program. Different programs have different requirements for graduation and giving you the degree. But yeah, and even there are some courses as well, because as much as I'm concerned in Europe, PhD students, they do not have that many courses. But like here, I think PhD student needs to take at least 70 credits during the 5 or 6 years of their program.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. So it's kind of multiple roles at the same time. You're constantly juggling different commitments.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I recommend to people, if just studying, if being in academia is your lifelong passion, PhD is very great place for you to live, to study, to work, and making a network.
It's interesting. It may be a very American thing as well to pile on so many different activities, keep you busy so that, I don't know, maybe if they keep you busy enough, you'll never contemplate leaving because you don't have time to think about it.
Yeah, it could be one of the good thing about like being occupied with a lot of work and having a tight schedule is, at least for me as an immigrant, it doesn't kind of give me a chance to feel homesick. And because I'm always just swamped with a lot of work, and yeah, still there is a feeling that I'm away from my family, from my loved ones, but still on the other side, on the bright side, for me it's good. I don't get the chance to feel, okay, if I was home, I was like this. Yeah, that's another thing too. It would be for that as well.
Is there enough in your area to remind you of home, at least through food or through culture, to kind of, I don't know, maybe satisfy your homesickness to a degree?
The region that I live in the East Coast of the United States, the number of Persians that live here is not as remarkable as they are in the West Coast, in California. So we do not have that many like Persian restaurants or some grocery stores that they sell Persian ingredients. But still, for me, just gathering with some of my Iranian friends and making some food, some of our traditional foods, or celebrating our special events and our occasions, that really kind of helped me to feel less homesick and missing my family.
Are you involved in other extracurricular activities? Is that encouraged from the university perspective?
Yes, some of them are really are supported by university, because there are a lot of there are different cultures. There are a lot of international students here, and university has kind of a plan for different. They're just try to make more associations based on the cultures, and sometimes they even support these associations financially to make the students feeling less homesick and start thinking here as their home, and they think like they belong here. But yeah, university is really supportive, and that's one of the greatest thing about US that I noticed, that at least here in the city that I live, in my university, I don't know, the professors, advisors are really understanding. They just try to give you time. If they feel like you are burnt out, you are feeling overwhelmed, you are homesick, they just they do not push you a lot. They just give you some space, and that's so nice, I think.
Yeah, see, I feel that Americans are very independent, self-sufficient, and even in terms of social interactions, it's rather organized. I was in an American seminary in Rome. There were so many activities. I was asking about extracurricular stuff because I was in the soccer team, I was in the choir, I was part of different organizations that did activities that were very random. It's not necessarily a part of the core training, which is simply to go to university and to pray and to participate in the liturgy. But there were a lot of different things that somehow had to be factored into your timetable. And those were the things that left you really overwhelmed when trying to complete an assignment. And it was kind of set up so that you would get your social experience. I guess the need for socialization met through these official programs of extracurricular organizations. And it didn't really leave room for genuine friendships to be formed. Of course, there were genuine friendships formed.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was kind of artificial. It's trying to just get people together based on where you're coming from and what you're good at. It's an interesting kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I know what you say exactly. There are a lot of multiple activity out there that university try to manage, and even there are other organizations that helps you to get out of your house, get out of your comfort zone, and start socializing with people. And they're just trying to keep people like more motivated, more positive, and there are a lot of activities that they're really good. They're really good. But one of the points that you just pointed out, I felt it a lot. That was really tangible for me. That, you are in a community, you'll have a lot of interactions, but there are not that many relationships that are really deep or genuine, as you said. I really feel that too here.
How do you think people go about socializing in America? I believe many people in Boston are actually from different parts of the states that have arrived there for their studies or for work. So in a way, you would think that they would mingle and be very keen to establish social connections, but perhaps they're thinking of the next step, that they won't be there for long. So how do you navigate that social environment?
Yeah, especially after as a student, you still think, okay, I'm not gonna stay here for so long. Even though you just decide to stay here in US after graduation, you might not find a job in your given city. Maybe you just need to move to another state. So that could be one of the reasons that the relationships are not that deep, and people, I don't know, maybe they do not spend that much on their friendship because they think of it as a temporary thing. It's just something just to kill the time, to have fun, maybe at some point. But yeah, it depends. It depends. But for me, I have this feeling, and it's not really good, because it's like that. You do not belong to where you live. It's you do not feel it thoroughly as your home, and yeah, that's not good. That's why I'm really looking forward to my graduation day and then moving to another city that I know that I'm gonna settle down there, at least for, I don't know, for 10 years or even for the rest of my life.
Have a certain city in mind when you mentioned that?
No, not really for now. I told you, I'm still not really clear about my future plan. I'm still busy with PhD, but I don't know, maybe because since there are a lot of Iranians in California and the weather there is kind of nicer than East Coast, maybe there, or maybe even Europe, getting back to Europe is another option as well.
Would you return to the Netherlands, or would you go elsewhere if you were to return to Europe? Let's say, I know you may not have thought about it, but if you had to think about it and say now, where would you go?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. These are all just the options. They are tentative. They're not finalized yet. Some of the thoughts that sometimes pop in my mind. But yeah, if I want to get back to Europe, I think that would be probably Netherlands. I made a lot of friends there. I have a community of friends and network that I'm still in touch with them. But I think Germany would be another option as well. I know that there are a lot of Persians over there as well. I have some of my relatives living there. And yeah, for me, maybe Netherlands would be the best option. But yeah, first it would be US and then maybe in Europe, Netherlands, for now, at least.
For sure, for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So let's go to the second question.
Sure.
We've already touched upon it, but has a busy schedule ever taken a toll on you? How did you manage it?
Yeah, I told you because workaholism is really prevalent here. And sometimes my schedule is filled with, numerous activities, tasks, and a lot of commitment. So as a PhD student, I've got a lot on my plate, and it's so much to do. You have a short period of time, and you need to do a lot of work. So I don't know, you need to kind of bite the bullet anyway. So it has taken a toll on my life a lot. So it's like, I don't know, even mentally, sometimes I just feel like really depressed because I was working and I kind of isolated myself from the world outside, and my interactions with outside was really limited. And sometimes even on my body, like the physical health, because it just kind of makes the lack of exercise. I don't get the chance to go outside sometimes, and also poor diet. Poor diet is something that sometimes I don't feel like even cooking because I live on my own, so I need to cook. I need to do the chores. I need to do my own work, but still, having a poor diet is something that sometimes I still encounter. Or even the sleep deprivation is something that just still keeping a regular sleeping pattern is sometimes very elusive and difficult to reach. But yeah, I still try to figure out, sometimes I find just myself very swamped and I don't get the chance to think of other stuff like self-care. And that's something that that's a mindset that I need to embed within myself, that self-care is essential. If I want to get a better result, having more efficiency in work, I need to keep that balance between work and life. But yeah, it's something that I'm still trying to manage it, maybe by prioritizing tasks, by time management. Yeah, that's a true struggle for me.
Wow. You did mention quite a cocktail there of difficulties that you might be facing in different domains. Where would you go first in terms of getting more balance into that particular domain? For example, in exercise or diet, is there one thing that you're working on right now?
I think the most important thing here is the time management. If I can just manage my time properly, I can take care of other stuff as well. Like, yeah, having a healthier diet would be really helpful. It could just give you nutrition. It boosts your energy, your mood, and can even increase your work productivity. For now, like having a better diet and doing more exercise, attending the gym maybe in regular basis, are things that they're really beneficial for me, for my body, for my soul, for my work. Yeah.
What do you do for food, generally?
Sometimes I just try to order some fast food, which I'm not really happy with that. I always feel guilty about it when I'm having some fast food. But sometimes I just try, like, I think the other day I was just trying to cook several foods and keep them in refrigerator to have it throughout the week. I like cooking. I'm a foodie. I like to try different cuisines, different types of food, going to restaurants. But yeah, because I sometimes still struggle to manage the time, cooking is sometimes really a pain for me. We have there is a cafeteria here for the university that sometimes I go there. They have a good food as well. But yeah, that's a life of a student who lives abroad without her family.
Actually sounds very good. It sounds pretty good to me. what you're having sounds pretty good. Like, okay, a couple of days of fast food, batch meals, cafeteria food. Are you missing those days? Are you not mentioning the days when you're not eating at all?
Yeah, it happens, it happened. Like even this weekend, I remember this, I don't know, it was Saturday morning. I was tossing and turning my bed and I couldn't get out of it. And I felt so weak. And I was wondering, so why I cannot get out of it? What's wrong with me? And I noticed like maybe during the last 24 hours, I only had 2 coffee and maybe a couple of biscuits, something like that. It's not like all the time. But it's sometimes even, I don't know, I really feel lazy that I don't want to go downstairs and start cooking after a long day at work.
Wow, yeah, got you. So, I'm a workaholic by choice. And I found a pretty good way. I don't know if it would work for you, but I started with just cooking spaghetti bolognese every single day. Spaghetti bolognese every single day. And yeah, it's not very real, but I can do it. I don't mind. I just have spaghetti bolognese every single day.
Every single day.
Tomato sauce, yeah, and spaghetti. And after a while, I realized, oh, wait, I don't need to have spaghetti bolognese. I can actually just have bread and bolognese. Like, all I have to do is put bread in the toaster, just cook the sauce, and it's kind of like, okay, I've just looked after myself in terms of the carbs. I've got the protein, I've got the vegetables. I put some oats in there as well for fiber. Sometimes I put some greens, like cucumbers. I don't know, that's not green leafy vegetable, but I put spinach, and I just put in whatever's necessary. And I would cook myself this meal every single day. And I know it sounds horrible to some people. Actually, I like doing this, but I mean, this is my staple. Like I would sometimes go to McDonald's, and sometimes I would and I would also go out for a beer and meet with my mates every so often. But this was my like go-to. I would never actually. I don't think I ever really skipped a meal. I made sure that I ate like this. But I was also forcing myself to eat by exercise. I would exercise every single day. And it was like something that I had to do. It could just be 5 minutes, but I would have to do that, and that would make me hungry, and I would eat that. I would just eat that really kind of simple meal, but basically it just took care of my diet, because I was just living this really regimented meal life. I don't know if this proposal makes any sense to you at all.
No, it's actually it's a great strategy. It's a great strategy. But still thinking of having the same food like every single day for me is like that. No. I can't do it. I don't know, it bores me at some point. I mean, yeah, I like having different. I told you I like food. It's not like that. I hate food. I hate eating. I'm a foodie. I'm a complete foodie, and but. Yeah, it might happen at some point. And the running that you were talking about, that's great. Sometimes I try to have it. I think during the last couple of weeks, I was trying to force myself to go for a walk, for a run, at least, as you were saying, 10 to 20 minutes. I think because maybe you told me that it's your choice. Maybe you are, as an entrepreneur, maybe there is no boss or someone that you need to report to. So for me, in my case, because I cannot just keep that schedule, that life balance all the time, there are days that I need to go to campus. I'm there maybe from 8 a.m. until 6 or 7 p.m. in the afternoon. So I cannot maintain that kind of lifestyle, at least for now. But yeah, that's a very good strategy. It's just having the food, and you were adding a lot of nutrition and all those essentials to your food. That sounds good.
Yeah, and I also always took fish oil.
Ah,
That's it. That's pretty much my diet. Like I would have like 4 or 5 fish oil tablets or capsules every single day. But I think in your case,
you just have it, or you just add it to your food.
No, I just have it when I wake up, when I sleep. Yeah. It's like I think it acted as a prophylactic, but somehow making me feel no, maybe the word is placebo. Like, oh, I'm doing
Mm.
something good for myself.
Ah,
Uh, it is prophylactic too, probably preventative, trying to keep my brain intact. I don't know. I try to do these kind of things, but I understand, of course, I think you have so much on your plate. It's not easy to fit in these
um,
probably luxury activities, like to be able to exercise. But I think it's also just a matter of um, habit, like just ticking it
mhm.
off. And I just try to do it very gradually because there are days or weeks or months when I will be like completely unmotivated and when I
I
would
see.
lose this habit. And the only way that I bring it back is by doing literally 5 minutes and
Mhm.
just doing it every day, 5 minutes. And then the next week, I'll try to do 10 minutes. Next week, 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And gradually increase it to something that I'm happy with. Uh, that's all I can really propose.
Yeah, I know. That's a very good thing that you were saying. The method that you're just trying every single day and being consistent. I think consistency is a key to success and being disciplined. All of them that really helps you to get where you want to go, where you want to be in future. But yeah, I like that kind of life that everything is kind of stable. You can keep everything at the balance. And I don't know, it's something the way it is. But there are times in your life, there are some barriers, some challenges that you need to overcome. And you need to, there's some cost for that. And I like that. It's not like that I don't like this lifestyle. I know it seems really hectic and demanding and even maybe boring at some point, but that's my choice. I stand by that. It's gonna help me to get where I want to go. Just having maybe around 4 or 5 years of maybe tough years, tough days. If they can lead me to where I want to go, to fulfill my dreams, to achieve all my dreams. Yeah, why not? I like that. But having that kind of life that you were talking about, that's great. That's something that kind of keeps me motivated and encouraged to finish my degree and find a job and live my life to the fullest.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What do you think that involves, that dream life? What is it that if you close your eyes and see the future of a happy Niloofar, what are you doing?
For me, my dream life is filled with peace and joy. That's the ultimate goal. And what I'm really looking for is just, yeah, I graduate from university and find a job in industry. I don't know, getting a house, getting a car, and the exciting part and the thrilling part of it for me is making money, and then I can just travel. I can travel around. I can see more people, explore the world, explore new cities, new cultures, and that's it. That's it. Like having peace is for me is very important. Like having a secure job, having being stable in your life, not being worried about, I don't know, your visa, your financial aspect of life. All of them is something that I am not just. I do not have a kind of a pipe dreams. It's something that is tangible. It's feasible, I think, at some point. But yeah, still for getting there. But I don't know. Peace is not something cheap. I think it's very expensive. That you need to work to get there. And yeah, that's my ultimate dream.
Wow, wow. A part of my brain is always trying to find out what MBTI people are. And that's a bit of a strange tendency that I have. It came from when I was in the seminary and I found out my MBTI type. And then I asked every single person in the seminary. Do you know about MBTI, by the way?
I think so. I
It's
can't
called the
recall.
Myers-Briggs, yeah. Myers-Briggs personality
Oh, I see. No, 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 no. I've never been through that, but seems really cool. I would just go through it immediately after our talk.
type. the reason why I mentioned it is that I've definitely benefited from finding my type in terms of self-love. Like, I think the main one is self-love, self-appreciation, but also activation, actualization, because everybody is unique and everybody has different ambitions. Everybody has a different way of living. And in the community that I speak, we have many ambitious people, especially because this is an educational activity. It's educational at heart. And that's basically, it's actually a kind of a gruesome process to educate yourself, to learn. People say, oh, I love to learn. And people do. I do love to learn, but it's in itself quite a gruesome activity, you know. And in your pursuit of a higher degree, there is the education part. It could be helpful for you as somebody very ambitious to recognize your type, to recognize that, you are a more ambitious type, and that these things are important to you, and that there are other people like you, for one. And then secondly, that there are complementary people that can help you on your journey. It helped me because I've surrounded myself with people who really carry me, you know, like I need people, and recognizing the complementarity that they bring, as they're usually different types to me. So it's something that I would recommend, just because you have so much on, you have so much, you're always going to be questioning whether it's worth it, because you just have, you're going after something that most people aren't going after. So it seems that you can benefit from this. It might be a distraction, but I think it's worth it.
I think it's a very good thing to do. You know, self-awareness is a very crucial trait. You know, if you know yourself, if you have a better understanding of your strengths, your weakness, and it can really help you, I don't know, to stay motivated, and even it can let you just to help you to reflect your goals, to clarify yourself. Why are you doing something? Why are you there? And I think that's a very important part of everyone's life. Knowing yourself could really help us. It can help us to pave our path. It would be more beneficial, contribute to reach your goals. And for me, it's like that. Sometimes when I feel down, when I feel blue, I just try to cast my mind about all hard works and how far I've come, and just give some shout out to myself and try to say, you are like this, you did this, and you've come so far. So just to keep myself on track, and just reminding of myself, my strengths, and knowing ourselves is the best thing I think we can do for ourselves.
Wow. Well, Niloofar, I think I've taken more time than I asked of you. I really appreciate you joining me on this podcast, and for sharing a part of your life with the audience, and for really revealing a lot about how you are taking on such an ambitious project and in another part of the world. And thank you also for your insights regarding Europe and the differences that one might expect in America. I think there's so much more to talk about, but I have to ask you to come back on another time. I really appreciate your time, Niloofar, and everything that you've shared with us.
Of course. Again, thanks for having me here. That was a great talk. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thanks to you. Thanks to the iSpeak program that is really informative, really helpful for people like me. I always keep recommending this to my old friends. And you are doing a great job for all the people out there, John. I really appreciate it.